Let's watch this video. Ring, the mind-melting adventure guide. So again, this is the first time watching this channel. I've never watched this before. Why is the audio so weird? Is it because the game is so old?
Well done. We have completed Valhalla.
Oh my god. The goosebump like music always fucking like gives me actually like a bit of like a shivers. It doesn't give me shivers, but I do feel always a little bit odd when I hear that melody. And the reason why is because I watched so much Goosebumps when I was a kid. There was like barely any of them that actually terrified me. There was like only one episode that terrified me when I was a kid. It was about those little when there was like these dolls that would just murder people, and at the end of that episode, the one kid, that normal kid, would just fucking turn his head like 360 and be apparently turned into a doll or something. I don't know. It's just somewhat, even to this day, after fucking 20 years or something, I still remember that nonsense. The fucking dolls. I hate dolls. I hate dolls.
It's different in that it could be a one-time show. Getting this version made into a cut where the back-end robots didn't yell at it was already an ordeal. So if you're seeing this during the premiere, or the Patreon watch page, or some third-party website, that's why this video may have vanished, or be slightly different than the one on the main channel. It was not a smooth process, and this is more like the Flavor Flav Night Tales of the adventure game videos. So with that answered, what the hell is Ring? Put simply, it's an adaptation of Der Ring des Nibelungen. No Sadako here. It's an opera, though he'd prefer the term musical drama, by Richard Wagner. It's a cozy little production that clocks in at about 15 hours. It's usually performed over 4 nights so that the audience can actually survive it. If you thought Les Mis was long, welcome to Germany. It is, in every sense of the term, a national epic. So in 1997, a company founded by 2 Slovenian architects decided to make it into a game. It would be published by a French company, Cryo Interactive, and the team included the renowned French artist, Philippe Doyer. If you haven't heard of him, the dude is particularly a legend in comic books. He frequently uses bold, striking colors, and his work is surreal but endlessly detailed. So for giving a fantasy epic like Rings
that
flavor,
looks sick.
It's not a bad choice. Though if
oh,
you
that is a
him,
castle.
You know he's more famous for his sci-fi art. Well, this adaptation would be a sci-fi one. Ring would take place in the far future of 40K. No, pardon me, 40C.
So it would be his version of it, and okay, adaptation, yeah.
It can surely fit into any setting, so there's no need to get into the original for now.
Le pauvre Alberich, qu'est-ce qu'il veut, c'est être grand, lui aussi envie de rouler en Mercedes, peut-être.
Boy, will he. The game is currently abandonware, and to be able to play and record it, I had to reinstall my operating system. It won't work if certain NVIDIA drivers are installed, or a lot of other mystery things, really. For some reason...
That is what sucks with a lot of fucking old games, man. A lot of them you can't even run. It sucks. It's such a bad thing, because, you know, like, all of the old CDs I have, I probably might as well throw them away, because you can't even do anything with them.
The game wasn't supported much, and most reviews I can find of it said it was very, very bad. IGN gave it a 2.7 out of 10, though GameSpot was more generous and gave it a 3.7 out of 10.
Wow!
Now, these aren't great signs, but they did say the story can stand on its own. I can maybe agree that the game has a story. Sort of. Okay, let me start the game. There should be enough of a... Oh, we're here.
Is this the game?
A cutscene is supposed to play there, but it doesn't, so I had to go hunt it down.
I have been known by many names.
Ooh.
Messiah.
Is that it? Oh, okay, more.
Thanos. He says he's a god and hero and wants to tell his story. This seems like it should be important,
but he's bald and purple. How can he be a god?
His past to see his adventure, which he tells you is also your adventure.
Come hither, my child.
Look at those lips, man.
Become the Earth's child.
Damn, what an ass.
Ish?
This task is your path. As old as the world itself. Perhaps even older. It depends on the age that we bestow upon the gods.
The great adventure ends up being Ish entombing himself inside of a mummy returns prop.
Nothing like a random woman just talking into your like ears while she's not really anywhere nearby, telling you to fucking die, kill yourself in some weird way, and you're just like, you know what? Let me listen to this random voice. Let me do that. Let's do that thing.
Unravel the secrets of the Ring play, because the story is one of mankind's greatest creations.
Childhood, yeah. That's why I'm feeling like playing some Nintendo 64 games. Huh? He turned into a ball?
Drill?
Your Majesty.
What?
Oh,
Get to work.
God.
Yes, Your Majesty.
It can't sound like that the whole game.
Not like that, Drill. Panoramic.
Ouch! Oh, sorry. I'm a bit rusty.
Ooh, he's a bit rusty.
There-ish. I have returned eye and arm to
I
you.
do like the voice acting.
Now you can set
What's
off.
the video about? About an old game.
Okay.
A theater
Now we're all
play.
caught up. It is odd that the Eldritch
A very
sarcophagus
old
doesn't
theater
plug
play
into the
made into a
Matrix,
game, but with
instead
its own
just
adaptation.
controls an RC claptrap. But you're now free to wander this asteroid space station amphitheater. There are statues you can interact with that give you more information about the characters in the story, but none about the current setting. It is peaceful to explore.
Well, that was a
here.
chubby
You're just
boy.
listening to nice Wagner music, and the narration is being done by award-winning actress Charlotte Rampling. They really
Yeah,
had set out to make
she has
something
good
classy
voice.
and
She has a very good
cultured.
voice.
She now has to discover those of freedom.
The
I'm not sure
fuck?
what she's in, but that
What's with
is
the
a very good
artillery
voice.
strikes?
That he was himself wanted as a weapon on the symbol of the new order.
There's no battle I can see. Like, who's being shelled by the...
Feels
To
like
this
a
day,
cold night.
I have not
There's
found
a
an
snowstorm
explanation. It could
outside.
represent
It's been a
galactic war,
snowstorm
and
all
that's what
day.
makes Ish's adventure so important.
You can
or
barely
something
go
like that.
out.
Or it could be like the Citizen Kane parrot that's supposed to shriek you back awake. Except Ring delivers that trick every 45 seconds.
Like, speaking of that, fucking the whole fucking, I had to throw the trash today. There was like 20 centimeters of snow blocking the door, the trash room door. Bro, I don't even know if you don't have a little bit of muscle on yourself, I don't even know how people would open it. Thank God that I could just open that shit.
directly above ground for maximum impact.
I was like, hell no, I'm not taking back all of this trash. I had like 4 bags. I had a lot of trash.
The Rhine Maidens' gold was sleeping at the heart of the
It was a lot of recyclable stuff. That's why
This is
there were
fine
so many
anyways,
bags.
because it's an absolute
I recycle
exposition
both
dump.
plastic
You get
and
backstories for
paper
all
and
kinds of characters because there
whatever,
are 4 stories
and
to
food.
play, and you can play them at any time. So it can't take into account how relevant something will be in that very moment. With that in mind, our first character is Alberich, or Alberich, or Alberich. The game uses all kinds of names for each character. Sometimes it's the original German names for the Norse characters, sometimes it's just the Norse characters, and sometimes it's a translation from who knows where. So Alberich is the king of the dwarves and as spiteful as you'd expect. He's preparing for revenge against the gods, so we'll start with him.
just throw the trash on the floor. Yeah.
Alright, got the
Maybe someone will
Fisher-Price
pick it
pit
up.
selector. Let's
Or
go.
maybe it'll fly away. Oh shit! What is that? Is that a dwarf?
Your Majesty!
What the fuck is that?
I see you have returned.
I have returned, yes indeed, yes.
The Nibelheim, well, it's not my fault.
It's not your fault. It's not my fault, Majesty.
You must do something.
Goblino
You are the
intensified.
king. And this
Let's do
I
it.
told them. Yeah, they all got boof.
Have you ever heard someone speaking and the way they say something is so bizarre it just skips over the part
It's
of your brain
cutting
that
us off.
processes
Aw.
it? Ring has a few examples of those, and
How
somehow this dude
poetic
isn't the
you're
best
feeling
at it.
today.
Look, glag or a proof of my
We're getting rain
confidence.
instead of snow. Thank God we're getting a little snow. It's kind of rough with the Dogo though, but regardless, better than rain. What is he doing? What the
Your
fuck?
good faith. My dear meme. Fear.
Wait, did he
repression.
call him a
These are
meme?
the words that are music to my ears.
There's so much to unpack already. Why is Glug tribute, and what is Glug? It kind of looks like the Dungeon Keeper cover.
Now,
Ooh.
what am I supposed to do with your ludicrous toys?
If you notice the in-game subtitles being off or not matching the audio, that's in the game itself. You learn that Glug is for the motorbike and can explore around as Alberich a bit. There is an item panel like many adventure games, and you have Brutality, Glug, and the Ore. There's not much to do in the Forge yet, but Alberich can tear Meme's ass apart for daring to own a decoration.
An ornament? Here in the foul, stinking half-dark of your forge? Oh, have you suddenly acquired a taste for beauty? You, a squat, moldy, and groveling toad in this palace of
I
hags?
see that you can't really see this.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say either. Well, he wants to keep it, and this is where brutality comes in.
What's he gonna do? Why?
Oh, don't get so angry.
Whoa.
You're the king. Take your piece of glass.
I feel like Alberich wouldn't be satisfied with this, and the game does too, because you can hit him more.
Ow! Oh, why are you hitting me?
Stop that.
Because I like it.
What the
you
fuck?
Slimy gutter dwarf. Because it is my good pleasure, you rotten little cabbage.
Dude, is this a king thing?
Because it pleases me, you worthless prince of
Oh
slime.
god.
The Wagner music is nice, but out of place and
They
looped
really
in a
had fun with that
psychotic
one, huh?
way. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate that much on YouTube, since there are about 500 different people who want to claim the music as their own. So if things seem disjointed, or a part gets muted, or the video itself disappears, you'll know why. Anyhow, Alberich also collects the tier of Log, though you might know him better as Loki.
Fucking
It's heated
YouTube, man.
forever and will always evaporate water that touches it, meaning it's effectively a nuclear reactor. Our Dwarf King is going to need it for something deeper in the mine. It's not a Mercedes, but it is a motorbike. And you power it with not the energy source. Then you remember that this is what Glug was for, though you have to click in the exact magical spot like you'd expect.
Oh. What the fuck? What the fuck?
And feature a particularly fluid and dynamic interactive software engine, offering unprecedented immersion, both visual and emotional.
You ever had that thought, that shower thought, that when you know when you watch a lot of horror movies, do you ever have that shower thought that whenever you wash your face and you open your eyes, there's gonna be someone there coming to murder you? Or just generally when you close your eyes while showering, there's like a demon coming behind you? Have you ever had that random thought? I don't know why I've had this thought, but I do. Some like ages ago when I was a kid, I think I watched too many horror movies. But anyways, imagine if you shower and you open your eyes and this thing just appears. How would you react? I would be like, yay, party! I don't know. Yes, I have a shower thought, but darkness with darkness. I don't think it's not really a shower thought, because a shower thought is more like you having like a deep thought about something specific. But this is more like you're showering, you're thinking about this happening. Kick that baby! Kick him out of here! Get him out!
No, Glug is not in the original opera, but maybe he should be. Alberich makes his rounds traveling Nibelheim, which is awkward to navigate. You would think that you would only need to click again when there's a fork in the path and you need to choose a way.
I do like the
visuals. You need to
visuals.
click again just to keep going. It is safe to say that Philippe really went to work on the designs.
Yeah, this looks
It didn't
great.
translate too well to character models in 1998, but the environments definitely still hold up. Though one of the locations you can visit has what looks like a space marine drinking out of a giant straw. But remember, 40C, not 40K. There's nothing to do here yet anyways, so you can get back on your bike, and Glug will need the minerals every time you turn it back on.
There's so much creative like
On the other side of the
design
kingdom, you can visit
decisions in
Alberich's
these
control
old games.
center.
There's so much
He's looking
charm
get
to it.
production back in order and has something nefarious in mind. The motorcycle won't take you directly to his lair. You'll have to ride his Daedric Secret Lab gaming chair to get up into it.
Whoa!
This pleases him.
Pum 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 pum. No. Dun, 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 dun.
It turns out Meme's ornament did have a use, as it fits into a puzzle. Each panel tells a history of the god
Please,
Wotan, or Odin. It talks about how he desired to rule the world, and then did so. When you solve that, you can activate the computer, though it's undergoing some technical issues. Alberich fixes it with his trusty 5-finger solution. The map is now active, and presumably, the system's back online. From here, it should be easy going into the storage room. I guess not.
But he's
The first
just
time I played
sliding
this game, I
through.
couldn't actually save it because it was broken. It's not a huge deal now, but I still feel something burst in my chest when I see that endgame screen. What you need to do is move the tunnel around. That way you won't be aircraft catapulted into the wall. Now that you're not pulverized down into salted pork, you can get your stuff. A few of the vaults next to the
Bro, he can
big
barely
egg are
walk.
empty, so you'll need to look around carefully. Actually, only one locker has an item, a diving helmet. It's the big egg that contains the anti-gravity gel you need. You don't know what it's for. With that done, you can head back up. Just make sure to put the pipe back into place and flood the antechamber on the other side of Nibelheim. This is critical to the plan, and so is...
Wait. Who is this dude? Is this the king? Is the big guy the king? What happened to him? Who is he?
The meme frog.
I mean, the god or whatever. No, it must
That
be
was
someone
pleasant.
else.
Now the magic frog lets Alberich breathe underwater. Ring makes me
Must be
wonder,
a little bit
was the
lost in
audio
here.
made for humans?
Oh my god.
The actual music and effect sound peaks can get astoundingly high, and there's no way to just turn off the music, which would have made my life much easier. If you don't go directly back to the pipe chamber, you can learn a bit more about why the factory is not working.
Why don't you come on up and see me? We have much need to talk a while with you.
Of course, sir. I'll get into the lift and you can bring me up.
You have to be careful not to pancake him with the lever, and then the dwarf will explain what's actually happening. The kingdom is shut down and not producing anything because the dwarves have formed a union and are now on strike. Alberich's about ready to murder him on hearing this, but wants them all to come back to work.
And it just goes to show that work organized on ideals of fairness and mutual effort would appear to be just as productive as your, how can I say this, more kingly methods.
I want you to work for me again.
You do? Oh, I am honored. However, I do foresee two problems. Firstly, nothing in your kingdom works anymore. And secondly, I don't see how it would benefit us. In short, what I mean to say is, let's be honest, not a chance.
I think you're going to change your mind.
Why?
Alberich's voice acting is fantastic. He's so thrilled to be evil when he has power and just so bitter when he doesn't. But it's his upcoming segment that seals it for me. You equip the diving helmet.
Is he
and go
gonna
into the chamber
jump
you
on
floated
him?
earlier. If you don't,
Is
click
he
the
gonna
helmet
body
first,
smash
you just
him?
die. If you do,
What the fuck? Oh, like someone took a shit.
there's nowhere to actually swim to.
Oh. Do you just die? Oh, okay. Dude, this looks... Hey, yo!
My sisters, listen. An ode to the Rhine, and one for Wotan, our father, for having entrusted us with such a delightful mission. Frolicking all day long in the ever-changing waters.
Yeah, true. Whatever you
and guarding
say.
the sacred
Yes.
treasure.
The treasure is
I
brilliant,
agree.
spectacular gold.
I'm a great
The gold
listener,
is
by
so
the way.
spectacular that it can be forged into a ring that will grant the power to rule the world. It's even beyond that. It'll grant absolute power. Wotan has told them to lure away or distract anyone who comes too close, but unfortunately for them, they're dealing with Alberich.
Poor little fish. You think I find your advances irresistible?
He's an incel! Oh no, he's an incel! He's like, fuck y'all!
Go instead and sing your desires to the salmon and the trout.
For blowing up
Doesn't
each of
give
the
a
Rhine Maidens,
fuck.
Alberich gets a new key, and then he surfs away.
See how a bunga.
You go through this a few times.
Elusive as the river, deceptive as a woman. A dwarf I may be, yet I am not fool enough to be caught in...
Maidenless.
Come, drink
What
peace,
the fuck?
happiness, and oblivion from my breast.
Whoa!
I have no taste for peace and happiness. And as for oblivion, my little fishy, you're already history.
Fuck off. I
No
hate being
bitch just surfs away. Oh lord. He did not give a fuck. What a Chad, man.
The anti-gravity boots let you fly up, but the no-clipping, I have no idea. It's like a playable YouTube poop. After dealing with the fish in the sea, Alberich must endure the Halls of Torment. They might not actually be called that, but it's what they feel like. The environment can be really cool in these sections, but the puzzles become nonsense. Not that our standard was high before, but now you grab a fish and put it in another tank, and then a dolphin eats
Why?
it, which is actually another
Oh.
Rhine Maiden, and this leads to bright contemplation of the medallion.
Wait, where do you find these dolphins? What the fuck was that transformation? What the?
For multiple sections.
What?
One will give you a medallion as a gift, and then you give it back, and they say you deserve it,
Give a
but then
dolphin
someone
a
else needs
fish and
the
it turn
medallion,
into a
so it keeps
maiden.
going all over the place. Sometimes you click water and a fish lady comes out. Sometimes you instantly drown. It's one of those classic
Oh.
adventure game moments where doing the exact same thing gets you killed. Do it right and you won't drown, or be murdered by the haunted arms.
Wait, did he grow boobs? Oh, those arms.
There's a lot to get past in this section, but Alberich's musings do make it entertaining.
Trust is the weak man's favorite excuse. I am a conqueror, not a beggar of human charity. I choose to be rich and warm, a condition which better suits my royal nature.
What's weird is the maidens want him to demonstrate all kinds of qualities, and he could just brush past them, and then he usually dies. Instead, he performs the good deed, they say why that's good, and then he says it's all bullshit.
Well, on this point I must agree. Sacrifice is indeed a noble thing. In fact, without a moment's regret, I would sacrifice all those who stand in my way.
Alberich is quickly moving up my list of villains as he gets closer to the gold.
Oh, like
Alberich. Choose love or virtue or something like that, but it is treated as a game over, which is appropriate for Alberich. Of course, you can just die here again if you forget to use your diving helmet. As for the good ending, it sure looks like another one where he drowned. So let them sing to the salmon and the trout and get the gold.
Well, here is the gold, you walking disaster. It wasn't that. Now,
he always fucking gives a comeback. Oh, this is something so, like fucking. He was always trying to be an asshole and laughs about it afterwards.
Crown, in accordance with my precise instructions. The world is mine. The Nibelungens, my slaves!
Nah, you and Glug have to take a final trip to the Astartes chamber.
Wow.
Now Log's tear can be used to power up the factory again, and the ring lets him rule over everyone. This could go a few different...
What have you learned, my son?
I have learned that desire is a cruel mistress.
Who's talking?
I've seen a man renounce love for gold.
And why did he so desire this gold?
So Ish gets a little what was that all about lesson, and then it becomes a Heaven's Gate manifesto.
At the dawn of the 21st century, the 9 forms of intelligent life in the universe came into contact with each other. This was to be the second great upheaval in human history. Greed very soon held sway over curiosity, and a war like no other began. They fought for power, riches, and space, which was nevertheless infinite. Soon the 4 most powerful warmongers formed a deadly alliance. Humans were on the defeated side.
It may surprise you to learn that this intergalactic war and history, it all goes nowhere. This is brain poison. Learning it can only hurt you. This also makes the framing even more nonsensical. If Ish is in the future, you know, and it's like a sci-fi setting for us, if he's learning about the ring cycle, shouldn't it be a normal fantasy kind of setting? Like the actual Matrix is in the past, or, you know, a video game. The sci-fi elements have nothing to do with the actual stories being told. They're used for puzzles, but other than that, completely superficial. You could argue they're showing Ish a world more familiar to him so it's not too alien and he can understand it. I don't think so. At this point I'm convinced it's a torture device. Did they really think Glug was like Microsoft Clippy? No. Does this device look anything but evil? No. They're trying to kill me. Personally. You can follow the general gist of the story for now.
What I said at the start.
Actual opera, but the deep lore... Absolutely not. This would be like if I asked you to watch Fellowship of the Ring, asked how you liked it, and then went, oh yeah, it's just like how we're fighting the Greys and Reptilians. And Legolas knows the Earth is flat. That's also true, my son. It makes the whole experience so confusing. All I can do for now is spin the wheel of madness and move on to Log. Loga, Loga, Loki, it doesn't matter.
Well, that guy looked like he knew something. Ooh!
My setup really doesn't like that engine sound, but maybe it runs better on yours.
It's vibrating my ears.
Votan, we have completed Valhalla.
Alright, so they don't clearly explain what's happening here, but the original story does. These 2 Transformers are the giants Fasolt and Fafner. They were contracted to build Valhalla for the gods, being offered Votan's sister-in-law Freya as payment. Now that they're done, Votan is getting cold feet about the deal. It's just they're playing the scene without any setup to it, so it looks like nonsense.
I have a question. What the fuck happened there? They just squeezed the head out of all juice. What happened?
Freya, sweet Freya.
Ugh.
Is that Freya? I don't think that's Freya, man.
We return each day in search of our immortality.
I think you lost Freya somewhere else.
I cannot abandon her.
How dare you break your oath? You were the first of all the gods not to keep his word. Freya was promised to us. Freya belongs to us.
The lack of music makes this whole scene extra surreal. Like shoving a frog into diving equipment was worthy of music, but this doesn't make the cut. You just hear Starscream and his brother mad about their payment plan.
We shall keep Freya.
The gold, Votan. The gold may be our only salvation.
Fuck it.
Alberich has stolen it and forged the ring.
I love these designs. What the fuck is that?
Since then, he has been hoarding countless riches in the gloom of Nibelheim.
Your labor has been immense. Your rewards shall be infinite. I am not offering you gold, but rather its inexhaustible source. You must accept this price.
We have learned to mistrust you, Votan. When we see the gold, and if it is as inexhaustible as you say, then we shall return Freya to you.
Huh? They put her in an ice cube?
Logger, my loyal advisor, return
Dude,
to
look at his fucking man looking slick.
Ring from the dwarf's filthy hands. Once again, I shall oppose the giants. You go down into the mine and take care of that rat.
This is where hell begins.
Hook! Who goes there? The mine is closed, so no visitors are allowed down here. No entry, that's right, no entry. So don't you come any further. So I am, at the moment, working on something that is very, very precious. So about to retreat.
The music loops like this throughout Laga's entire story. It keeps looping and building back on itself to a crescendo that never comes. This talk with Meme goes on forever too, he just wants to see Alberich. Meme explains that Alberich has been working everyone to the bone and is now a powerful sorcerer. He's created effigies that make scary things appear, or something like that, and that's how he keeps control.
He's terrifyingly good, you know what I mean? Terrifyingly good.
It's 5 minutes of this, and nearly impossible to retain any of it. Meme mentions there's also a transformation material somewhere that could help you out. We'll see. Now you get to explore Nibelheim again.
Put your backs into it, you placenta.
Yay!
Alberich has a lot
I'm
of different lines for
excited.
speaking of
Yay!
Work, you repugnant regurgitation from the throat of a old and ugly mother-in-law.
Why is everyone insulting us? Or why are we always insulting someone else? Go wash your mouth.
Grovel, you spineless hunchback.
The man takes so much joy in his work. Now you need to hunt down his effigies, and his gaming
Bro,
lair
are
seems
we
the
like
best place to check.
flying around on a hoverboard?
You gotta do some puzzle nonsense again, but can break into the vault after that. Unlike last time where it was mostly empty, there are 3 effigies here, along with a strange material instead of the anti-gravity yogurt. When that's done, you've got all you need to explore the other side of Nibelheim. It is kind of interesting that Logi surfs around too, but through the air. I'm gonna guess the surfing
I
is
think
saving
I'm
a lot
gonna
of
make that
animation
into a
time.
notification
This is where you
or some
discover the
shit. That's
vault's torture
funny.
chamber, and what I see when I can't sleep at night.
I love that.
You have to talk to the Scotchy-Moochy Volus, and it is designed to make you crazy. It feels like he contains the activation switch for taking out some politician somewhere. It is a 7-minute tirade about dwarves and I don't know. The delivery, the way the music loops over it. Let me give you just a
Is he
little
okay?
I've devoted my life to them and did what I could to get them to rebel, but in vain. To them, I am just a freak to be laughed at during the break time. They bend over backwards to protect that megalomaniac creep. You won't even be able to get close to him. The only solution is to kill them all.
Doesn't that just make your ears sing? The voice always changing, the music endlessly looping for 7 minutes.
It's
This
twitching, it's
legitimately might have
tiring
been
me
done in one
out.
take. I'll leave a link to the full scene if you want to see how long you can
I'm
last.
good.
From what I can make out, he says the dwarves still under Alberich are a lost cause and deserve genocide. Redirecting that water from earlier could cleanse this place.
They
from sin.
deserve
Since he delivered
genocide.
this information like a
Please.
crazy man trying to impersonate
Murder
the
them
master
all.
from Fallout single-handedly, I think he deserves to be the first to join the new world.
Ooh.
The scene cuts are so abrupt, it's like, it feels like being shocked back to life or something. It doesn't matter.
And there he
Let the river
flies
flow.
away on this overboard again with his nasty pose. Oh, my shoulder.
My dwarfs! My Nibelungen! He's killed my dwarfs! It can't be! All my dwarfs! All my little dwarfs! Oh, what am I supposed to do now? Mister, I kill everyone and it doesn't stop me from having a blast! Huh? What am I going to do without the dwarfs? One little dwarf, just a small one! Oh god, they're all small! Alright, a teeny tiny one! Oh, my kingdom for a dwarf!
After the Pocket Prince purging, you can confront Alberich, and it is a doozy. In the original story, Alberich gets tricked, and here it's something else entirely.
Well, well, well. Wotan has sent me his cherished mutt. Let's face facts, mongrel. Yes, Wotan is a god, the god of gods even. But you see, I'm the dwarf of dwarves. The biggest of the smallest, and by far the most vicious, brutal, cruel, sadistic, and dangerous creature under 5 feet tall that you've ever had the displeasure of meeting.
Imagine how much confidence someone has to have to announce that they're under 5 feet as part of their threat. Loki is here under the order of the god of gods, and Alberich could not give a single fuck. After some more surfing, Log explains the nature of order, and gives an entire monologue about his perspective of how things go. Loga's performance is also very good, and his cold, calculating demeanor is a perfect contrast for Alberich. Alberich's not too bothered by the threats or even the genocide. Instead, he's the most offended by how long Loga's speech is taking, so he decides to end it in an effigy battle.
I call on the
Oh, he's still going? He's just talking to a wall and the guy got enough of it?
Ringed with all the cunning and ignominy in the world.
To beat him, you have to pick
What?
the right monster to battle his. As far as I can tell, the game itself doesn't have any hints, you just have to go with what you think would be the best option. The animation here is neat, and it's a fun but brief sequence. In his defeat, Loga has won the ring. For some reason, the music gets much
cool.
louder in this section, but Alberich curses the ring forever. Whoever wears it will only know death and misfortune, and then...
Turn into a frog?
Sure. The ring is entombed instead of a giant egg, and the giants think it's another trick. Getting it out is an excuse to include more puzzles, including a slide puzzle. Slide puzzles are for children, and they're completely incompatible with my brain. The idea of having to mess a part up to make it work again just doesn't compute. This is my kryptonite. But after entering that and how many days are in a year, you get the ring. Unbelievably, Wotan tries to cross them again on this, until our narrator Charlotte, the voice of the earth, reminds him that it's cursed. Then he gives it to the giants so they can squabble over it. Freya is released from the Whack Crystal prison.
I shall keep what I have earned by right.
Wait, are they fighting over it? Why are they fighting over it? What?
You do more puzzles on this combined piano. I don't know why. They don't say why you need to, but you have to. This heralds the beginning of a section that many adventure games have where it just gives up and you mainly get puzzles. It doesn't look cheap most of the time, but the story becomes so gutted that it feels empty even if you do know this story.
When the Four divided the universe between them,
Please, no.
they also laid down their laws. The 5 slave races then began paying for the opulence of this new order with their lives.
Okay, I have to ask. Who or what was Ring made for? The dialogue and themes seem way too heavy for kids, but there are so many certified Looney Tunes moments too. All while telling a German opera fantasy story in a science fiction skin, with large parts of the story either removed or completely changed to make the game go forward. The budget on display is so high for what this is, but even now, knowing the story of Ring and getting the gist of what is supposed to be happening in scenes, it's still a lot of nonsense. If you don't know the story, it becomes impossible to follow. And don't forget these are stories inside a story, which is even more of a fever dream that's never elaborated on. Playing this without context actually made me feel crazy, in a way no other game has quite captured. There are games that are frustrating or hard or convoluted. This is a Necronomicon that makes sense to somebody. I would love to know what the plan was, like, who was the target audience? It sold a few 100,000 copies, so some adventure game players did pick it up. Anyhow, our third story is
sounds like a big win in that time.
A long cutscene to set the stage.
Few 100,000 is a lot. Like, PC games weren't that popular back then, right? Bro, what the fuck?
The statue didn't prepare me for this.
Okay.
I did not click at that time, and wolf sense. Nothing. There's nothing relevant, if you could call it that, until the end, so what are the highlights? The door to the house is locked, so Sigmund wanders through the woods. There are many shots of Sigmund wandering through the woods. He goes to his house and uses precious metals to forge a tiny man. The tiny man can be used to hand-deliver rat poison to a rat living in the cupboard. I'm only assuming it's a rat. The sound indicates it might not be a rat. I think it's a rat.
What the fuck?
You cross a bridge to get to worms, but you can only see the worms if you use wolf vision, and you deploy the tiny golem man to get those so you can go fishing because the fish has a key in it. This leads to the ancient temple beneath which is their secret lair where you can get the boat out for the double deluxe hidden Viking funeral. And honestly, I'm forgetting the details, but somehow, all of this shit leads to opening the door. I don't have answers. You have a better view of the game than I do.
Whoever you may be, whether fairy, woman, or apparition, do not send me away. I am a tired and weary stranger. I must rest here.
Damn relatable.
This woman and home belong
This
to
is like
Sigmund,
how I
the
feel
warrior.
every time I wake up.
But we gladly offer you his hospitality. Enter and rest, stranger. I will bring you something to drink.
It turns out the mysterious woman has a Fursona pin just like Sigmund does. She is Sieglinde, his long-lost sister, and he is very, very, very happy to see her. One of the many issues of this
I can
is that
see
she's
that.
already married to Hunding, and he is not Hundigging it.
What is he doing here? Stranger, I can easily recognize in you your errant and wild lineage. You are not welcome in my house.
It's supposed to be dramatic, but Hunding's voice combined with that dialogue sounds like something straight out of Xavier Renegade Angel.
Oh yes? And since when have you been taking such liberties? I feel greatly deceived. Well, so be it. You can spend the night here, but as an attentive host, I feel it my duty to warn you. Tomorrow, at first light, I shall kill
Why?
you, whether or not you have a weapon with which to defend yourself.
What Hunding didn't count on was the tiny man slipping him rat poison so you can knock him out and then grab a sword out of the garden. The reward
Just
for him
stab
during
that
this is
bitch.
The budget cutscene.
The evil curse has taken hold.
What the fuck?
My own wife goes against my will. Sigmund loved the wife. He embraced the sister. Twice he violated the sacred laws of marriage.
In context of the story, Wotan is pissed about his two children hooking up. There's a lot of extra context the game doesn't go into, so I won't either. He doesn't want Sigmund to die, but he has to. So he tells his daughter, a Valkyrie named Brunhilda, to make sure he dies and not interfere on his behalf, but she knows that he loves him, and will try to interfere and save him anyways. What we're actually seeing, I find a lot more interesting. Was this concept art they made into the cutscene from running out of time and budget? Was the animation team in a bind and Felipe heroically drew these up last second to patch things up? The world may never know, and it's the only cutscene in the game like this. It's also as messy as ever. They're trying to adapt way too much into this Frankenstein of a plot.
Wait, why didn't you stab him while you put poison in him? Why now? What? Oh my god, it's the woman. What?
What have you learnt, my son?
Nothing.
He was in love with his own sister.
I know.
What?
But that does not
How?
seem to me to be
They
a bad
saw each
thing.
other for one fucking night.
I don't want to see Ish get his old man war ideas, and neither should you. Sure, the art depicting the deep lore looks incredible, but like I said before, it's poison. The only thing we saw for sure happen was a real estate deal and incest. You don't get to give me your essay on the real story after seeing that, and then try to tie it into the fort, Tau Ceti, and Thetans, and whatever else you saw in your episode that day.
Whole armada of rebels. They called him the Prophet. With his small army, he fought the four on every planet at every available opportunity.
This could never be made today. Not with this budget, not with this many big names behind it. Ring is so fascinating, but so painful. The more I look at it, the less I understand. Brunhilda's story is the last, and while I could get some parts of what we saw before, this section is based on near nothing and just stuff happening.
Yes, my child. You have returned to the crossroads of worlds. There are few places like this that are shared between all civilizations, all ages, and all beliefs.
I have to throw the ending forward.
The task you are undertaking is an important one.
The task is more surfing while the famous Valkyrie theme plays on loop. Not only is there less story here than Sigmund's section, but the puzzles here are the most moon logic they've ever been. Apparently, the idea was if you ever got stuck, you could return to the main area and start up a new story. So if players just found Ring too digestible, they could play the whole thing non-linearly. Each character's journey would be for more seasoned adventure gamers. I don't think the term seasoned really conveys what that means. Brunhilda's puzzles are for Stage 4 adventure gamers.
Well,
the kind where you come to a frozen sea, so you use your magic spear to set a bird on fire, which will melt the whole ocean. This causes a mummy to fall into the water, and lets you retrieve the plank of wood, which of course you can't tell is an object. Then visit Van Darkholm and open the secret compartment.
Why
to
is
reveal this.
exactly
And now you need
only
the
his
tiny man.
under
Disassembling him,
area
and then
turned
making
into
sure to grid
stone?
match the form of a human being. This will cause the bird to carry him away, and now you have the feather. It's just going between rooms, clicking at random, and watching Brunhilda hang 10. In the actual story, Brunhilda hid Sieglinda, who's pregnant, and then Wotan imprisons her. She's already hidden Sieglinda off screen. All this does is introduce new, more confusing forms of random shit.
By my father, who are you?
By your father.
This is a new character called Nemesis, who you kill. He says he has a weapon born of Wotan. Alright. The puzzles aren't even entertaining in a crazy way, they're just a mundane kind of insanity. The most credit you could give this is that she's sending more souls off to Valhalla, which isn't good, but it's something until things take a turn for the batshit.
Huh?
Solve the infinity puzzle to unlock Brunhilda's ending?
Oh, naughty thing. You've been bad again. Naturally, you don't care. You won't get the blame for this. I will. It's always my fault. Really, it's just not fair. If you start that again, I'll get a different doll. Ah, there you are. It's good what you've done. You must go and see your father now.
No, I was just about to say that my brain actually is turning into like fucking utter shit. Dude, I don't even know what we're consuming at this point. What is going on? Damn. And then I realized how much time there's left of this video.
He's angry at you, you know?
Oh, Lord.
That's unfair, too. Because deep down, this is all his fault. Nemesis was right.
Ow, Pop.
I destroyed Nemesis.
You're so naive. You did not destroy Nemesis. You have become Nemesis.
I don't understand.
Ow.
Leave that for later. Not all secrets are for telling. First, Go and see your father. Go.
If there are any experts in the ring cycle, please tell me what the fuck is happening.
Sort of thing. What the fuck is going on?
You are no longer my daughter.
What?
I exclude
How does that work?
from the immortal lineage forever, and forever shall you be banished from my sight.
Father.
Wait, if that's the main area and Ish is back there, what's happening? I thought he was observing the story, but now he's right there. Did they have to use this area for some technical reason, or is this part of the story? Well, whatever the case, this is the part we were supposed to see much earlier. Votan imprisons her asleep in a treacherous area that only a worthy hero can get to. That whole level was completely pointless.
What have you learned, my son?
Nothing!
The Earth was destroyed and that humans' memories are probed for entertainment by alien masters. The story of the ring is engraved into our DNA. It's sort of like the Animus, except instead of a person's memories, you can just watch the entire Nutcracker. The point of all of this is then revealed.
The Four have just discovered an enemy and they need you to combat him.
But I'm not a warrior.
That is not what they're looking for. The greatest of strategists would be useless to them in the face of the threat that is fast approaching.
So, what do they want of me?
They wish to restore a god to the universe, to lead their people into a battle with all the fury and determination which only faith can ignite in man, although this god is not a phantom.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Mr. Editor.
Or should I say, he will exist. For you see, Ish, this god will be you.
Okay. Your final item is receiving death. Thank you, Votan. You won't regret it.
Oh, thank God, finally.
As if from a dream. Did I regret waking? Or was I happy?
You're still bald and purple.
I cannot say. I felt as if I had reached out and touched the secrets of the universe.
I feel the same way. I feel like I saw something I shouldn't have. However, Ring was a 4-part opera, and this only very loosely covered the first 2 parts. So all they can do is just reflect on Ish being God.
I knew that the adventure would not stop here. But I was enjoying this unexpected moment of respite, with my eyes lost in the stars and all my thoughts directed towards this dream of a warrior woman imprisoned by the flames.
You think that all is
funny.
It does not really concern you.
We don't want more, please, no more.
Part of my game.
Who is this kid?
Incomprehensible. Thank you. Is the girl on the TV the extra galactic threat and she can intrude into the story somehow? Now my headcanon is they tried to show Ring to Ish, and then this thing came and infiltrated it and just made it crazy to try
Scandinavian legend of the Edda?
Crazy chamber. Even if you could perfectly follow the story,
that was a
not lot to come to
girl?
Ring for. There are some cool environment
Probably.
designs and a few great character moments, but those are so far and few between the crazy. Most of the puzzles are deranged and without much context to make them really worth doing. And we're done with our best character far too early on. The game is currently not sold anywhere and hard to run and hard to find. It's not worth that journey. I mean, hell, it's not even the full story. That wouldn't be done until Ring 2. Ring got bad scores. Ring 2s were even worse. People who were mixed or even liked Ring
They took it
hated
to another
Does
step.
the box spray corrosive acid
Holy,
on you or
they made it. Oh.
I tried a lot over the years. A friend sent a physical copy, but I can never get it to work, and that's fine because some mysteries are better left unsolved. Oh God.
Wait. What does it say? Hey, Mandy, I'm the guy that been trying to get Ring 2 to work and I have 2 other suggestions. Oh no.
God. It works now. And I might not be able to get it working ever again. I've gutted my PC to play and record this, and I'm not going to do it again. I don't want to read comments or get emails about coming back to Ring 2. It has to be over. So
couldn't you like just buy an old PC? Like there's probably people selling their old fucking PC. Fucking hell. I had my old PC still in like in my mom's basement like 6 years ago. I bet there's still people that have their old PC and you could just use a capture card or some bullshit. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe probably some way you could get the recording out of it. You can still order old PCs on the internet today. Yeah, so I mean, just get an old PC with the old Windows.
With it. Let's complete the cycle and find out why even the Ring enjoyers hate this one.
The ring must be destroyed.
This is the first time I've seen him on the deck.
I mean, I guess that's a little bit more work maybe to get an old PC.
His female prisoner.
I'm just thinking that for him, if he does a lot of like videos like this about old games, I don't know, this is the first time I'm watching about him, but I'm just thinking, if he does a lot of videos of old games and he struggles sometimes to run them, because of course you do that with most, then it would be a decent investment. Probably wouldn't cost him that much. He's probably a rich YouTuber with a Bugatti.
He is a vassal of King Gunter, but I do not know his name.
Ish, you who know better than I,
For us in
tell
300
him
bucks?
who our
Damn.
hero is that we are bringing back to the fortress of our overlord, and say
What color
also
is your
who
Bugatti?
it is he
Yeah,
went
exactly.
to find and why she is being kept in chains.
This warrior, friends, is Siegfried, and the sword he carries by his side is Nothung, whose blade was forged by Wotan in Valhalla. But today, he is leading his beloved to her damned marriage as her page boy.
I like the
Yet he
music
does
at
not
least.
know it. Poor man.
Is he
So Ring 2
shirtless?
is supposed to continue part 3
In
of the cycle, but
space?
starts with a flash forward of part 4, and now Ish is just in the story. I didn't think Wagner could have a basement order, but that's the future we live in. The sound has gotten worse.
Nice.
The air! The air! Oh, does he think the metal will melt a...
Is it just me, or did the quality just get worse? Like, he looks way worse than I did it in the first one. What?
alone?
Meme is back with a new voice,
Holy,
which
he's
makes him
hot.
way more tolerable
Oh my
to listen to, but there's nothing
God.
to interact with, and I can't even see my mouse pointer.
What
It could
is
be a
this? The fucking crooked gamer back,
issue, which
man.
won't surprise me, but I think I could. Oh my God, you're a person now.
What is
This
that?
is a big departure.
Is
from
that
the point and
us?
click we had before. How the screen is framed isn't great, though, so let me
Jesus.
fix that. You'll miss the item window, but that's not worth it. Now that we can all see, what the hell am I? I'm a child in what appears to be a deep-sea mechanical gimp suit. It's like Rapture's Big Daddy prototype, the little boy. It looks like he's trapped in permanent Dota 2 posture. It looks like your life is now spent doing tasks for Meme. I'm not sure if Alberich knows about him having the boy slave yet, but I bet he'd have some cracks about it. Getting the bellows started looks like it should be an easy click drag, but it is not. The detection for it is horrible, and it feels like trying to wrestle it over anything. After some musical forging where you strike the hammer after the note and not on it, the child causes a fire.
Oh, fire! Fire! Oh, I knew it. Why did the gentle dwarf waste his time looking after him all these years? Why? Why? Oh, well then... Why is he not going to do anything to put out the fire? He should take the water carrier near the pond. And
Why don't you do it, huh? Instead
The
of
sound in
bitching
Ring
over
was
there.
never great, but this feels so much like a void. There are barely any layers to the effects. I do prefer this over playing a point-and-click game. For now. The sound design is fantastic. Glad to see Ring come back to life.
It
That
really
suit is
breaks
like
my
the
ear.
exact opposite
10 out of 10.
Enya.
he must strengthen the ceiling. He must go out and take a trunk back from outside, close to the stumps. Quick!
Well, at least the music is pleasant, and it does seem to loop a lot more smoothly. Ring 2 never has a literal torture chamber like the first game did. It's still pretty unique visually.
The game is
except
torture.
Ring 2 came out in 2003. That's 5 years after the original, and 3D graphics were advancing at light
2003?
speed back then. And man, they are really pulling back the camera. I guess because it's an open space, but you... Jesus
Wow.
Christ, are they going to open Google Earth next? You could argue that Ring was very tunneled in and claustrophobic, and this is trying to make things more obvious, but you might want to save that thought. Without a doubt, they desperately want the story to be
I'll be
more
honest, that's not
understood,
too
as the
bad.
menu now
That
has
looks
spark
visually
notes.
pretty good for that
There's also
time.
no mention of the Galactic War, or the Four, so someone may have noticed that was completely insane and scrapped it entirely. But Ish is still around, just placed into the story as a narrator instead of Charlotte Rampling, who probably had much better things to do. It's clear Philippe is still on board, and he's
What
done
does she do
production
now?
design for actual performances of Ring.
We
It could
lost
be
a
he's
good
just
voice
huge
actor.
fan, and
Fuck.
his concept art for Ring 1 looks awesome, though they did chicken out not giving Alberich that COD piece. Regardless if you own
Did
any
he have
concept
that
art or
bulge,
sketches
though?
from either of the games, they're very valuable. It's rare for any game to have zero redeeming qualities. There are some neat aspects about these games, even if it takes years off my life to play them. Getting back to it, the trip to go get wood doesn't go well.
What the fuck? What the? Oh, well, yeah. Any day this happens. What? Oh.
The birds have freed the child from Andrew Ryan. Welcome to Ring 2. That's our title drop. Confused? Read the spark notes. This is a terrible way to tell a story. Let's see how we do without it. I'm sure it'll be just fine. I'm now a babe in the woods, but a different kind of babe went up that tree root. That should be a good starting point.
Child, my child, come and show me how strong and handsome you are.
What?
Come to me.
Hey, yo, FBI, open up.
I don't want to go up the tree anymore.
You do not wish to come? Do I frighten you?
Yes.
Oh, come now. I am close by, as I've always been. Come.
Ring 2 is taking a very weird, very French turn. I can't see her anyways because I don't have the tools to climb up. The method to do so is scattered around this huge field, and Ring 2 has a new nasty surprise. You can only hold one item at a time. That means if I need to combine it with another item, I'll need to physically go there and do it right there. Otherwise, you'll pick up the new item and leave the old one. This has disaster written all over it, especially with how big this area is. Thankfully, sometimes the items do have a shine on them, which is something, but it means having the wrong item for a puzzle sends you trekking around again. For this one, you need—
You know what? This just screams that they didn't know how to make an inventory system. Like inventory, an inventory system is actually a little bit complicated. I mean, if you give a good coder his fucking work, it's not going to be that rough. But even nowadays, I think personally, when I started trying making an inventory system for the first time, it was very complicated and rough. But I bet probably back then they didn't. Probably the designer of this game just didn't know how to do it.
to free a bowl,
which would be
so
weird because they did have one. They did have one on the first game. Wait, why would they choose to have a system like that? That doesn't make sense to me.
Even with the one item
that shit's terrible. Yeah, that's awful.
Decent. I cut out the bowl, tied the rope to a hook, put that on the bowl, lured it over with a flower. I understood what I did and felt kind of satisfied getting the dagger, instead of feeling pure despair wondering what I was witnessing. These moments were so rare in the first game, and it's a good sign.
Who's that?
Oh, fuck.
You? Who are you to dare to rob the dead?
Who are you?
And with me, you would take that risk?
Okay.
We were so close. It was so easy. Oh well, let's see what this trusty lady has.
Come closer. Do not be afraid.
Is she gonna eat me?
Like that. Good. Tell me, do you remember me?
No.
My face? My
You're
gaze?
bald?
The beating of my heart? Does
why are
none
you
of this
like,
evoke
why
the
is your
slightest
boobs
memory?
out? Is your
The dwarf
boobs
had
out?
promised to be your tutor. I see he kept his word, but he
Like
chose to teach you
the quality's so bad, I don't even know.
In your soul, I can tell that he kept everything from you, even your name.
A name? Only Mime has a name. Nothing else in the world exists but him.
Oh, now he's Mime. He was Meme in Ring, so I'm
It's
gonna
so
keep
low
that.
quality, we don't even
fairly
know.
Sure it's supposed to be Mima, but my brain is so rotted from these games, I'll never remember the names correctly ever again. Who am I going to talk about the Ring of the Nibelungen to in real life? Who cares? Knowledge of these games is not something I take pride
She's
in.
lying.
It's not a curse.
Look, here is the border. Decide to cross it, and you will lose your certainties. That I promise you.
I have a question. How is this thing attached to your head? Is this your hair or is it attached to something like on your back of your head? Because I can't even see it on top.
I can see pain and anguish. Death even.
It's a redesign, but clearly Sieglinde. She says he must go out into the world and learn the truth, or forever be trapped in Plato's meme cave. The child is Siegfried, and the entire game only follows him. So instead of bouncing around, we'll have something more consistent and straightforward. Let's cross the border into the real world.
What?
Or maybe just die. Ring 2 has introduced some platforming. It's one of the most pathetic jumps I've seen in a game. It's not even a jump really, it's more like
What?
a frolic. I didn't know you could condense frolicking into a
I don't
single
even
unit,
see
but
the
there
gap.
it is. After frolicking over the gap, now you can go into the real world. There's some drone cam footage of Siegfried, and now we're in the world. The world is a scary place.
God, okay. 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 Okay.
The first of Siegfried's trials is getting past the spider, which is easy if you take it slow. After that, you find a strange altar, which is going to need some objects. This is where things get trickier.
Here, Log, god of trickery awaits you. If you know the virtues of vigilance, walk confidently towards him. He gives his gifts to those who know how to listen to the signs.
The sign is listening for the calling of crows. A certain sound indicates the fire in the tunnel will stop for a moment, and once you figure it out, it's pretty straightforward, though it still takes a while. We see a statue of our old friend Log, and grab his bowl. First item down fairly painlessly, but it doesn't go on the altar, it just makes a new triangle. So it should form the same symbol on the dagger. One more to go. This one is far down a path among a bunch of lava pools. It's worth the jog though, because you end up getting fucking Mjolnir. This is good timing too, because now the way back is filled with demons. You can't use the item on them, there's no way to fight them, and I looked in the manual and there is an attack button, but it doesn't do anything. All you can do is stand there and die. So I loaded up an old save, and now I can rotate. Restarting the game, now I can rotate and aim and throw it. Which I thought would be it, but playing it again for this video, you're locked in place and just use the attack button and always hit the demons. This section is bugged to hell with 1L and back, but I successfully got rid of Mjolnir. I'm not sure about that.
Wotan, the protector and guide of those for whom even the sun at noon does not obscure the stars in the sky.
Why is it so dark? At least the music is nice. I like this. I like the music.
Oh Christ, is that the city from Scorn? Well, no, because it looks too mechanical, but it's way more horrific for me because it has a slide puzzle. I hate slide puzzles so much. This leads to the Cavern of Alchemy, or something like that. It involves putting elements in a device and speeding up or slowing down the flow of time to age them. This also sounds like it should be awful, but it's also not too bad. There are straightforward instructions, you just have to be careful advancing the sands of time. As the materials age, Siegfried does too, and if you don't stop the sands from falling, then he will as well.
What? That is a
When you
cool
do it right and get a diamond,
mechanic.
something happens.
Because he changed in game as well. Is that an ass? Oh, there is. It's a lady.
I even brought this up again. It doesn't
Only
help.
saw the ass.
You're back to child form and discover a
What the
giant air
fuck?
conditioner. Or maybe a big vent. Who knows?
You have crossed the worlds of the gods, giants, and dwarves. Now that you face the world of men, decide whether you will be a hero or a slave there.
Who is this guy?
This kid just keeps getting decked by fireballs.
Shame on you. You are nothing but a meal for rats.
The secret to this one is to throw rocks into the AC so that the wind comes up and will deflect away his fireballs. You have to time it just before his attack is finished charging, or else you're gonna get decked again. The wind won't last forever, but each time you thermostat parry him, your status in the world will go up.
Slave. Such will be your rank among men, and they will leave you the same scraps as they give their dogs. Your days will be grey and your wife ugly, but you shall live.
You're talking to a kid.
You have to do this 6 times.
Oh,
and if you
God.
screw up, you go back. Is this a boss fight? I can't tell. I didn't think this story would take me to fighting a stand user with an air conditioner, but here we are. Anyways, you grind your way from being a slave to the king and hero of men. Alright.
Oh. Oh. Well, of course.
Finally, we're at the Cave of Crushing Pillars and Depressed Mystical Trees.
Your sharp
blade. Why use it to destroy my last refuge? My life was nothing but a dull labor. Have I not deserved the gentle torpor of the forgotten?
I killed in the shadows for a bronze coin, a leather belt, or a piece of bread.
Why has my tomb been lacerated? Did I not obey my destiny by being a faithful and subservient woman?
Boy, those thumping of the pillars are really adding a lot to this. If you've never lived in an apartment, this is what it's like to watch anything. Luckily, it's not too hard to cross it, and really it's kind of weird how easy it is to get across. That's it. Ah, there it is, but I still have the dagger, which does not count as an item.
A warrior. It is a warrior holding a weapon bearing the sign of Wotan. One of Wotan's warriors, the gods of gods. He who denies us entry to his kingdom.
In Valhalla, fortress of the asses, where fearless warriors dine.
That's enough of that. These waters finally morph Siegfried out of being a child.
I like the ghost of Anarchy there.
Into an awful
really gave a
fusion
nice
of Kratos
touch.
And Caillou. Meanwhile,
Do not fear me, creature. I could have broken your neck if I wanted to.
Wait, what? You should not follow up with that after saying "Do not fear me."
Legate Linnaeus shows up and hassles Mime for a while. He reveals that he's related to Siegfried, and when the child returns, he will surely kill Mime. This goes on longer than it needs to, but you could say the same about the actual play.
He shall know fear no longer. He shall know fear no longer. And he shall kill me. He shall know fear no longer. Fear no longer.
What?
I think he'll fear no longer. Back with Siegfried, a Panzerbjorn is being harassed by several undead warriors. If you want to know how far off the range we are, finding a bear is one of the first things that happens in the actual story. There is a Looney Tunes rock up here to knock over, so that makes it simple. Oh, shit.
Your horns pierce my soul.
Bruh.
The key is to adjust the stick, which can't go too far to the left, but it'll work. This leaves a single skeleton, which the bear still can't take on his own. If you're too slow, the bear will die, but if you go in and try to fight it yourself, the skeleton will murder you. The answer here is to lure it into the ancient, powerful... big magnet.
Oh. What?
Man, this is fucking weird.
That's what I was thinking. What is going on? What do they think?
Giants, dwarves, men, and the dead. Now it is only right that you should enjoy your name and live up to it too.
Here you are, a man at last.
Oh.
Now you can make the inheritance of your ancestors your own. Find Notham, the sword I broke on
When did we
Vulcan's
grow
spear,
up?
and forge it again. With it, you will become unrivaled among men.
She
and
kinda
will
looks like
herald
me.
A new age, one where they may plant their banners in the firmaments of the gods.
We, your parents, Sigmund and Sieglinde, have named you Siegfried. Like us,
You're
you
your
belong to the line
parents?
of the Valsungs.
So Sigmund has gone through one hell of a redesign too. Not to mention we saw him die. Both his parents died. Sieglinde just died giving birth off screen and everyone talks about them like they're dead. But because things are such a mess, they're now exposition ghosts. Go get the sword from Mime, you little weirdo. This is how a human knocks.
No, he must leave. Mime can do nothing more for him. Nothing more, nothing more, nothing more.
Okay, Mr. Mime, meet Bear. Now we're in. You have to hunt around for the little dude since the bear exploding through his door alarmed him, but he doesn't have many places to hide.
He's strangling his good companion, strangling him. Is this his reward for the care he's lavished on him? Washing the swaddling clothes of all three of them, beds hewn from fresh granite and mud soup with its fleshy tadpoles. Is he not grateful for all that to Mime? His father and his mother at once.
He just keeps on going.
Enough, stupid dwarf.
He says he doesn't know anything about the sword, but that's what bear is for.
Enough! He will speak! He will speak! Oh, please, stop the pain!
He still doesn't.
He will tell everything!
Mune claims he chucked the sword out in the woods. So Siegfried forces him to take him there, but for some reason leaves the bear behind. These games are full of bad calls.
This way! But Mime cannot really remember any longer. Oh, in any case, he does not want to go any further. Oh, no, he will not go any further.
It's still not clear what any of this will accomplish. Where on earth is all of this going? Well, time to find the sword.
Of course.
It turns out the trees are electrified, so I need to keep my distance here. Looking around, the spiders are mechanical and their venom can be exploited. That solves the tree problem. I'm not sure what that was about, but it did the trick. Now you can crawl through and get... Oh my god, I don't know what I did. It may have just spit me out at the wrong angle, so this might do it. What the fuck even happened that time? And when you look at that, it was a bug after all. Now that I'm clear of the hell trees, lure the spider over, it dies to the tree, and now you can finally cross.
Imagine if he died to the bug there as well.
I'm thinking about that death screen a lot. Is that one of the most dramatic game over screens in a video game? I'm just thankful it's relatively brief and not something like too human. There's a bridge in your way that gets weirdly larger as you cross it. Or maybe you're shrinking down. You could be crossing into the land of the Giants, but Sigmund said you beat that already. Maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. Nobody knows what they're talking about. At least the door just opens without a slide puzzle. Okay. Wait for the spider to pass. Who would think there would be a sneaking section? Ring 2 really has it all, huh? Were they just throwing everything at the wall to see what... Oh, fuck. After many trials, I get past the spider...
I want a brownie!
But it almost caught up with me.
Hey, you want a brownie, chat? Ooh, is this Thanos? Oh, I thought he had a helmet, but it's just his head.
So,
what?
Dwarf, will you tell me about this treasure?
Oh, thank God it's Alberich. Finally, a good character. We've been lacking the bite and power he brings, and I'm so relieved for more one-liners.
It is Alberich, king of the dwarves, whom you are addressing.
We got the king of chat back.
Avenge me, and your filthy beasts will die of indigestion, eating the remains of your bloated and ugly corpse.
What? No. What happened? They recast him? I mean, the original voice actor had a lot going on in this period, but this is devastating. The Giants talking about his track record like the dude we know, but
they changed his voice.
To it. Besides the change in voice, his own zoning sucks too.
It was easy. They are too sure of themselves.
This isn't Alberich or Alberich. This is Albapor. The giant wants the gold, but as we know, he no longer has it.
No, for pity's sake, I know nothing more, I swear. Have mercy on Alberich, king of the dwarfs, deceiver of the Rhine harlots. I shall be your
It
jester.
doesn't sound as fearful anymore.
I will make you laugh. I will serve you, but mercy.
Doesn't sound like him at all. I will serve you.
Given me so far, merely mockery, scorn,
How
and
dare he
taste
is.
in my mouth. I thus take my leave, light-hearted, abandoning desire to fools, so that I can pursue higher ambitions.
Exactly. We're turning to pussy.
Was this a Darkseid 2 situation? I feel like there's a story here. Regardless, Alberich cries so hard that the spider no longer wants to eat him because his body is covered in salt. Is this the main reason why Ring 1 fans hated Ring 2? Honestly, that is so justified. The giant leaves, and now you're free to explore.
Hey, you! I don't know what you are doing here, but I implore you, save me from the terrible fate that awaits me. I am the king of the dwarves. If you free me, I can do many things for you. No, I can do everything for you.
Siegfried only cares about the sword, which the fake Alberich has seen. If Siegfried gets the key and frees him from his cage, he'll tell him where it is. Navigating around the cliff down is bizarrely perilous. You can just fall through the ground and die if the game decides it. Alberich did accidentally and pathetically stumble upon a spider defense. If you crawl up into a storage bin, you can cover yourself in salt. It's also worth mentioning even older Siegfried still has the frolic. I guess I've been feeling covered in salt this whole time, huh? Well, after that it gets trickier, like some ladders that you can't actually climb because they bug out sometimes, so I had to restart the game again. I wander this room for far too long and finally take a frolic of faith and see what I did wrong. These games will never stop surprising me.
Tell me where the sword is.
In the trunk, near the table. In there. Now put the key in the lock and turn it.
Unfortunately, the giant is back and Alberich is not freed. He'll have to talk his way out.
You have convinced me. I shall tell you how you can seize the gold I took from the Rhine Maidens, but you are going to have to be brave.
But I am brave.
You will have
Why
to
does he sound like an orc from Warcraft 2?
I am magnificent.
You will have to be superb.
But I am super.
Alright, come on. The dwarf convinces the giant that the gold was so bright he had to practice staring at the sun in order to endure it. This easily convinces him to try. Love me gold? Simple as.
If you did it, then so can I, and I shall do it better.
No, you cannot do it.
Yes, I can.
Oh, really? Then show me. Stand by the window and look at the sun as long as you can without closing your eyes. And be careful, I will be watching you.
What?
This gets dark.
It doesn't hurt. Think of the gold. Think of the gold.
The sky is darkening, dwarf. Clouds are gathering.
It does not matter. Keep going.
The giant might end up needing a seeing eye spider. I can't imagine how the real Alberich would have handled this part, but I would have loved to see it. Once he's blind, it's easy to get the sword, free the dwarf, and get out.
Alberich! Alberich! A curse on your filthy race! Alberich, come back!
Nobody is hurting me. Nobody is telling me to stare at the sun.
You do your work and reforge my father's sword for me.
No, it cannot do it. Oh, the gentle blacksmith cannot do it.
Yeah, fine, I'll do it. Caillou's going to the zoo whenever he wants now. He demands to find a worthy opponent he could slay to become a hero. Meme directs him towards Fafner, who still has the ring. You remember Fafner, right?
And you have more than abused our patience.
Wasn't the
Fafner
ring
is now a
like
dragon,
fucking
and his lair
Skamaz?
looks fucking awesome. Why is he a dragon now? It helps him guard the ring better. Actually, since I mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier, you might be wondering if this actually inspired any of Tolkien's work. He has answered this directly, saying, both rings were round, and there the resemblance ceased. It's a neat lair, and actually knowing where things are building up to is a great improvement. Though this has come at a great loss because now Siegfried's death scream is gone.
Nice. He just falls down and dies.
It also has one of the most needlessly long booby traps, with the least satisfying payoff I've seen in a game. You cross the don't break the ice tiles, then have to walk all the way back and wait for this spike wall to cross.
Anytime now.
Holy shit.
Oh my god, okay.
This genuinely feels like a bit. That's the sound it makes, huh? There is an altar with
I'll
a
be
slot for a
honest,
shield
I
in the
can't
cave,
believe
not
this
to actually
game is
fight the dragon
real.
with, but to reflect light into his eyes to wake him up. I wouldn't call it a dragon, but it is a cool design. And unlike some of the other overhauls, it actually calls back to how he looked in Ring 1. It's a fun detail.
Human smell. Smells. I sense that you are curious and desire. But not for the gold. Not the gold. You are looking for something else.
It all built up to this. There's no music. There are barely any sound effects at all.
It's kind of awkward. Whoa! Oh my
I
god!
did look it up. It's not bugged. This is how it is.
Oh! Oh god! He got him! One tapped. Actually, a one tap.
To you who have beaten me, I can reveal my secret.
The secret is he has the ring.
Wow. Who could have guessed?
Siegfried has done it. He levels up. He does get the ring, but
He
that was one of the worst
levels
dragon
up.
slayings I've ever seen.
Level 100 Mafia boss.
Outside, a talking bird warns Siegfried about the ring. It knows about him because it's seen his life weaved by the Norns. Norns are the Norse version of the Fate Weavers. You've seen these before. What's more pressing is Meme coming with Detective Halligan's own brand.
But before you leave, will you share the sacred mead with mine? Will you at least show gratitude for all the care he has lavished on you?
That's not weird editing, it does play the sip sound before he actually sips it.
Is he dead? Oh my god.
We've been seeing the Norns the whole time. Right there. So what you should do is not take the drink.
Enough! Oh, I should have killed him when he was still floating in his mother's entrails. No!
Oh! No! Why did it end this way?
And so,
oh right, ish.
I forgot about this.
the Fjall Rock. That mysterious place Fafner spoke of just before his death. A marvelous treasure awaited there, more rare and more intoxicating than gold. Brunhilda, the Valkyrie, beloved daughter of Wotan, the god whose authority she once ignored and whose decree she disobeyed.
It's a stealth section, and the camera has never been farther. There is a bit of music punishment here, since one part is way louder and more distorted than anything else. It'll sneak up on you as it loops. It is some jank moving through these screens, and the perspective is all over the place. You auto-crouch behind certain
The
objects,
camera is
but you're
making
not
me go
actually hitting
crazy.
most of them. If you do get caught, you'll draw a sword like you can fight, but you know how this goes.
Yes. You just
It's
die.
an odd little section.
Even though you
because
can
don't
one
sneak
tap
for
a
too
dragon,
long.
you can not
When
damn
you
and
do
kill
use
a
your sword,
goblin.
it's to break into their storehouse and grab a bomb. It's the day of reckoning for the pig people. With the fence down, you can go deep into their city and penetrate the dungeon holding Brunhilda. This part requires the fastest reflexes in the game, but it's more jank than difficult.
We're 100% black.
What?
Frolic through the traps, and you're one step closer to Brunhilda. I've gotta say, the speed of events is really picking up pace now. If you hadn't guessed it by now, this dude is Wotan in a dramatically different redesign. I mean, if you know who Odin is, you can actually recognize him now compared to before. Here, he wants to regale Siegfried with the tale of
They
Brunhilda.
changed him
We've seen it
completely,
already.
though.
I would rather not relive that, so time for a new incredible fight scene.
Do you think I know fear?
Wow. Oh. 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 Oh my god. Damn.
What is going through his mind? More importantly, what music was supposed to play here? This and Fafner's had to have had one planned, but what happened? Again, the world may never know. It's also not clear how to free Brunhilda from this Giger torture coffin. If you do something incorrectly, the death timer starts, and then...
Yay!
There are some clues scattered around the room. Large statues with numbers and runic symbols. These are genuine runes too, so they correspond to actual numbers. There are a bunch of these, and I started jotting them down on a notepad to keep track. My theory was, in the manual, there would be a key for the runes and their numbers, and this was some kind of disk protection. Figure out all the numbers in the statues, and they will somehow correspond to the numbers on Brunhilda. After spending too much time trying to figure out what this could mean, it's the Fibonacci sequence. Which in this case is a fancy way of saying start with the little numbers and work your way up. God damn it.
Wait, isn't that your mom? Hey, yo?
She's also not monstrous anymore, and the pig people love them.
She's
Looks
normal.
Like it could and should be the end, but there's still a bit to go.
Oh god,
They
oh my
cut away
god,
from
there's
this
still
scene
more.
for this.
I see that a proud lineage has established its domain here. But what deed has the master of this place ever performed to deserve this gold and these flags that he shamelessly puts on display?
10 more minutes.
How dare you? Leave, Hagen. I know who you are, Valsung. But your glorious past does not allow you to be so
His chair looks like it has a mask. It reminds me of that face. No, no mask. It looks like a face. It reminds me of that face of the squid guy from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Is a veil to cover your fear in my presence.
We are now completely off the range. All of Ring 2 so far has been a loose Zyprexa adaptation of Part 3 of the play, aptly called Siegfried. The final part is called Twilight of the Gods, like the game. They are trying to put the entire final part and large parts of Part 3 into the last 15 minutes of the game. The lack of music and some cutscenes already made it clear that time was running short, but this is a real rush job. Trying to give any context to this is absolutely meaningless. My biggest question had been who is Ring for, but that is dwarfed by who is Ring 2 for? It's coming out 5 years after the original game and not really completing the story. It's limping over to a ending and throwing elements in at random. Maybe they thought it could still sell as well as Ring 1 somehow? I don't know. Well, the king says you should find Tears of True Loss, an object of true love, and a piece of Norn thread. If he covers himself in this elixir, Charlotte Rampling will return and reveal everything to him. But it's all a trick because when he fails, everyone in the court will get something they want. To find Tears of True Loss, Siegfried sets out to find the Rhine Maidens.
And the gold! The Rhine gold!
Well, I was hoping that would be an ending screen. It was the mermaids again.
You get tears from one maiden, but it won't be so simple because you need more tears. They're in great pain because they were rejected by Alberich and lost the gold. While one sister wallows in sorrow, the other isn't gonna take it.
Find Alberich and deliver him to my angry justice.
Well, Siegfried hasn't been to Nibelheim yet, but hopefully Glug won't be there.
Ring,
oh.
Ring, beautiful Ring. It is me, Alberich. Don't you remember? It is I who snatched you from the icy depths and the watch of the fish woman. I who brought you into the gaze of the creatures of the earth. Ring, Ring, show yourself. I know you are there. Do not be afraid. Come to Alberich, king of dwarfs. Ah!
He's a round little man, but he moves like a panther.
Bro, what the
He's
fuck?
come
He's
all the
so
way back
fast.
to the dragon's lair, and every time you get close to the
He
little
speed
weirdo,
ran.
he's already gone. You'll
Holy
never catch him
shit,
normally
he's
this way,
Sonic.
So instead, you have to cut off his escape
Look at him
and catch
go.
him from the other side.
I recognize you. Leave me alone. Let me go.
There you got him.
Whether he's dead or not is ambiguous. You get more tears, and man, the editing is becoming breakneck. Like, if you thought that was abrupt, check this out.
Valsung. Erda now wants you to find a piece of the Norn's thread.
There's the Norns. There's the Fates. You're just... Here we are.
How?
They cannot wait for this to be over, but have put the worst puzzle yet as the final obstacle. It is a time-morphing tightrope walk. I'm so glad to finally be here. The thing is, on paper, this shouldn't be that bad. Each color on the strip represents time going forward or backwards or staying still. The issue is, Ring 2 already has atrocious movement and collision detection, and I've already fallen through surfaces randomly, so the chance of that happening here is already a lot higher. Except here, when you change age, the game generates a new model which it can't place directly on top of where you were, and will often just throw you off into fucking space.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Sometimes your model won't change, you just get the smoke and get chucked off into the void. To make it worse, every time you return, you get a narration of the king explaining how it works.
Valsung. Erda now wants you to find a piece...
What the fuck happened there? I wasn't too old and got in the old line, this is the instant death line.
Oh my god.
Valsung. Erda now wants you to find a piece of the Norn's thread.
Works just fine
You're
now.
already heading in the right direction. Corn will lead you to youth, but... Valsung.
I bet he's so tired of that death sound at this point.
Valsung.
It is so dramatic as well.
Finally, I get past it and meet my tormentors. The fates actually look pretty rad, but I couldn't appreciate that in the moment. The cries of Val Sung will follow me into my grave.
I am son of Sigmund and Siegelinda, the last of the Valsungs. Help me.
Like my sisters, I am a daughter of Erda. Why would I want to
Not the
help
voice
you?
I expected.
We have no need of you to continue our work.
None of them want to be involved in this, which is fair, but a problem.
Stop breaking destinies for a moment, Kata. You must listen to me.
Deciding when to stop a life is not an easy task. Do not disturb my work.
This seems like an impasse. How do you defeat the fates? It turns out the answer is throwing pocket sand at their seeing eye spider and then introducing it to Nothung.
What did he do? What did he do?
Now that they're blinded, Siegfried finds the thread of his own fate. Where can things go from here?
Did Siegfried manage to fool the Norns?
Oh, yes. But he was not the liar in this story. It was Hagen.
Siegfried in Hagen's hands?
Oh, Hagen. He was there for a second.
Snake? And what happened?
Siegfried returned to the court of the Gibichungens.
What?
And from his finger took the ring that Brunhilda had given to him. Hagen made a potion of forgetting from...
Most of our ending is Ish saying what happened off screen. They'll even introduce a new setting for him to show up and say more things that happened off screen. Siegfried and Brunhilda are now going to marry the wrong people. Uh-oh.
Come closer, warrior. It is I who rule the tides of Yggdrasil.
Oh, she looks cool,
and
at
wash
least.
the oceans over the edges of the world.
That's not Charlotte.
Erda, whose advice you seek.
Erda? I do not know that name.
Erda's a galactic Teletubby or something. Fuck it. Hagen shows up, Siegfried dies. And after many, many painful hours...
After all of this, he dies?
A funeral is held for Siegfried, where they reuse his child model to ask who he was. And Brunhilda ends the tale with what else?
Cree for the gods. The end of one world.
More surfing.
The birth of another. Forever, perhaps.
What a game series. The worst is that they had pretty cool designs. What an ending.
That's it. Fuck it. Who is the TV girl? Who cares?
Who is that?
I would love to know the story behind how Ring was committed, but until then,
we need
all I
a
have
documentary
is
of the Ring
Somewhere
production.
out there is a diehard Wagner fan who's probably been vomiting over themselves and screeching by now. The story summary is also useless and mentions a gnome. Is that a dwarf mistranslation, or was there a gnome? It doesn't matter. See, last year a lot of people said that Anonymous Agony was torture. They couldn't wrap their brain around it and were thinking about it for weeks. Well, this was mine. This is the kind of game that sticks with me in the worst way. Like, sure, Ring 2 was rushed and probably cheaper than the original, but besides what they did to Alberich's character, is it really that worse than Ring 1? Having played both back-to-back multiple times now, I don't think so. I think at this point people had woken up more to how awful this genre could be at points and were less forgiving. I did find Ring 2 to be a lot more playable. It doesn't scream for a guide like Ring 1 does, but it never reaches the original's highest highs or its lowest lows. I think about it so much because while it also has rushed out parts, it also means something to somebody. As it is, it feels like peering at forbidden knowledge I was never meant to understand. If you made it this far, then thank you and congratulations. I don't know how long this video will be up for. So it might need even weirder alterations than I've already done for it to stay up, but it might just disappear. If that happens, just chalk it up to a bad dream. Well, happy Halloween. I'll see you next time if I survive to then. I can only hope that one day, the Ring will have a proper conclusion.
My god, what a game and what a video.
Have I seen the news about the new Marathon game? Yes. I've seen people unhappy that it's a Marathon Tarkov instead of a reboot, but I don't know how you reboot Marathon today and keep it for a modern audience. Like, having voice acting for the videos was fun and convenient, but the fact all the characters talk through text and even little things like repeated symbols or formatting can mean a whole lot, I could never see them keeping that aspect as the core of the game. Little blurbs, maybe.
All right, there's something else. Dude, I'll be honest. Great fucking video. First video I watched of the Mandalore, but this game sucks. I'll be honest, this was a very long ass video. It was insane to watch. Here's the video on the channel if you ever want to go watch it. But This video overall was very good. The game blows. It had its moment. I think the art style looks sick, but I feel like it was a lost shot because the game design was just terrible. But overall, I am happy this is over. What a journey, Jesus Christ.